Hello neighbor, how you been? This is Novels and Bits podcast and I am your favorite host, Chizoba Katie. How are you doing? Just a minute. Now let's continue where we left off in the last episode. We've been doing the story This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan, and where we left off in the last episode, we're introduced to the couples, right? This person already had a divorce from the wife, they have autistic sons, while the other person has a husband that's not really providing her attention. And towards the end of that last episode, we saw that her husband was arrested, and he's blaming his work colleague Judah Cross for it. Alright? Now, the real problem is not even there, because now Soledad is trying to keep herself and her 3 daughters together, because the thing her husband did is blowing up. It's news that everybody where they are staying at knows, in Atlanta knows, is on the TV, is making national news that he stole from his employer essentially. This couple people is a big company, right? That has a lot of employees, one of the cookware companies in the nation. Because of that thing, the news is blowing up that, hey, a Calport director stole this over $6 million and stuff. Sol is inside. All the plans that they were making the previous night before the arrest happened is in the gutter. Everybody's at home. Sol and her 3 girls, Lupe, Inez, and the third one, we'll say her name soon enough. 3 of them are together right now in the house because there's a news van outside. They can't go anywhere. But Sol is like, anyhow, let her bake for her daughters so that at least let them have something sweet to be eaten. You know, just food to let us eat. The world has not ended on us yet. We'll figure this thing out. She can't really even believe the thing, and she's even low-key blaming Judah Kurtz. Please, you have to actually listen to last episode, so I don't really go into all the details here. But I promise, last episode is so worth it. Ugh, gosh, the enthusiasm. Even here, the story, I love it so much. The trouble starts really when she tries to pay for her groceries online. She wants to buy groceries online and have it delivered because no one is living in that house. But her card gets declined. Her daughter's school calls that they couldn't process the tuition. Now, Sol calls her bank, and her bank explains that the FBI froze their assets for the investigation as for investigating her husband, Edward. Lupe overhears Sol saying they don't have money for food. Sol actually always has a little cash lying around because her mother did not trust banks. So the mother believes that if you put all your money in the bank, and bank would have all this liquidation tomorrow or something, all your assets in the bank is gone. So best to keep money at home. Definitely Sol is more modern, but she still keeps some cash around, and that could actually help. So it's actually Sol's grandma that didn't trust banks. Now she uses what's available, the little groceries still available in the house to make food. But she's not really filled groceries in a while because she's been busy taking her daughters this one. You know how you just keep putting something off. Because you did not expect your bank to freeze. You get. So it's not like the groceries she even has at home is all that much. Her daughters are eating when food pings with message from an unknown number. She usually doesn't pick an unknown number, but she decides to, and it's Judah Cross. The person apparently that's responsible for everything happening to her family, that discovered that her husband was stealing and had him arrested. This Judah Cross calls her. You get, and he wants to talk. She's feeling antagonistical towards him. She's feeling like fighting him, okay? He's around the corner. Apparently, he saw the vans and he's passed the distance from the house. He wants to see her. She opens the back gate so that they can meet at the place her husband calls his man den, behind the house. That is Edward's shed. She's hostile, but Judah is hard facts. He's not even there to kind of entertain her being all, I don't like you cuss, what happens, but he's not there for that. So he's all hard facts that that is what I found out, your husband is responsible, period. But that's not why I'm here. That what I'm even doing self, I'm here at my own risk. I'm not meant to, you get. So she now asks him, you actually think Edward stole $6 million? No. Before she can allow herself any relief, he states it for what it is. It's actually $5,800,444.33. At least that's how much I've been able to trace. There's probably more. I found this part so funny. That's how you know that Judah is such a figures guy. Why did you have to be that specific? He now tells her, I'm a forensic accountant, a damn good one. She's now asking him, and how exactly do you think Edward stole all that money? He now tells her the White Glove program. He was invoicing customers more for their annual fees than he was recording in Calport's books. And she knows when her husband started that program, how he's been so busy because of it, how he's been kind of ignoring the girls because of it. Meanwhile, it was a program that he was using to steal. from the company. So this whole thing happened simply because Cowper trusted Edward too much and he had autonomy, not being overseen by anybody. So when he came into Cowport, when Judah Cross joined Cowport, it was such a red flag. And his suspicions increased after meeting Edward. Edward, he's now telling Soledad Edward is arrogant, entitled, and thinks mistakenly, I might add, that his shit doesn't stink. He doesn't have the competence to back up his confidence. Guys like that often look for shortcuts to excel since they don't have the actual work ethic to achieve. It's a here and there kind of task employees often get away with for a long time. Some never get caught. In addition to the surplus Edward collected from annual fees, he also held those retreats twice a year. When I dug into the expenses, they were higher than what was charged to the company. So Judah is there simply to ask Sol to cooperate with the FBI. She's telling him that she actually knows nothing about what her husband did. Regardless, if there's anything she remembers, just say it. Just say it to Soledad. When Sol reveals her accounts are frozen, she shows him the pink slip of paper she listed groceries on. It's pretty standard for accounts to be frozen in such scenarios, but it informs her that court usually assigns a trustee to cover families' basic needs, like food, especially where kids are concerned. Edward's lawyers hasn't told her anything about this, and there's been no word for Edward. She's in the dark completely. In everything you do in this life, marry a good man, marry a kind man. When they say that thing to be like joke, Edward is not a good man, he's not a kind man. Judah leaves Shah and she returns to the house, to the main house. However, groceries get delivered, 10 bags full. And so notices that the groceries that gets delivered are actually the things that she listed on the paper, on the pink slip of paper that she showed Judah. So when she returns to Edward's shed to check for the paper, because she left it on a pool table there, it's no longer there. It's gone. That means somehow Judah took that paper when he was leaving. She didn't notice, and he paid for the groceries to be delivered to her because she didn't have any money. So she just texts Judah, thank you. His reply is, work with the FBI so that you can help yourself. Now Judah is returning from a run with his boys and they're all panting hard. Both Judah, his boys, all panting hard. He had made sure his sons were introduced to first responders when they moved into this community, the law enforcement officers there, that his sons always have medical bands on them, especially for easy identification. And the fact that a young black boy is in an affluent part of town. As per, it's America. These boys, they're tall, they have autism, and so they may not be able to really be social, and they live in a rich part of town before somebody will peg them for thieves. He went through the trouble. Judah tries as much as possible not to skip a day of running with his boys because he's noticed that on days that he might skip, the boys don't usually do well. His sons, they take their medications and vitamins religiously now, but it wasn't always so because the boys are 15 years old now. When they were small, it was a struggle. Adam mostly takes medications for his seizures and mood management, Aaron for his mood too, and to reduce self-injurious behavior like banging his head and chin with his fist. Just tell me how autism is not of the devil. Thank God for modern management. At least it helps before people can find Jesus and receive his healing. So Judah goes upstairs to change and to bathe. Tremaine calls him. That's his ex-wife. She's remarried right now. To plead that, oh my gosh, I have to represent mother of special needs child. Judah, he has a double school run today as a result. They split it. This person's office is close to this other person's school. You pick. The other person's office is close to that person's school. They pick. But now he has to go for a double school run because she has to represent another mother like herself who has a special needs child. She promises to pay him back in food. And he's not like you're the one that cooks the food. It's your husband, Kent. You get, her husband is a chef. Judah jokes that Tremaine got everything with Kent. As per everything that Judah isn't, she found it in her new husband. Tremaine now gets serious. Judah was everything to her, but something at their foundation just didn't click. You get, she just hopes that he finds someone for him that they match. The way I found my husband Kent, I hope that you're able to find someone else for you. Judah just tells her that he doubts he's going to try the marriage thing again, that he may not be capable of what Tremaine is talking about. Tremaine tells him, oh, you are. No one loves their boys as deeply as you do who isn't capable of it elsewhere. If anything, I think you'd love too much, too hard, if you ever find a person who makes you feel that again. Now, Soledad comes to his mind, but he dismisses it. He's been living like a monk since the divorce. 3 years now, no woman, just focus on his sons, his life. But Soledad sparked his interest, only for her to be married. You know how annoying that thing is? The first woman I'm interested in ages, she's a married woman. What kind of nonsense is that? Now, things are about to get worse with the embezzlement fiasco too. He drops off Adam first, who needs a lot of reassurance that he says he's going to be predictable as usual. Like I said in the last episode, autism children, they thrive in predictability. Not children right now, just general people who are autistic. They like their shadows kept to it. Don't change anything as much as you can. You get. Now up ahead, he sees a silver SUV, 2 teen girls with dark hair alight from there. Then there's Soledad. She's wearing slim fitting jeans that hug her curvy figure. She has small breasts, narrow waist that flares into thicker hips and butts. She's wearing oversized sunglasses that hide her eyes. News of the embezzlement is all over Atlanta. That she's brave to step out means she mustn't be underestimated. That's what Judah is thinking. Now, Sol and Edward finally have a first phone call. When she mentions that the account is frozen, he asks her to ask his mom to wire her money. Sol and her mother-in-law are not close. Edward knows this. She's now trying to ask that what's all this issue about. He just tells her the less you know about the issue, the better. She's pushing, so he says, all I can tell you is that I'm securing our future. She now asks him again, they mention offshore accounts and his summer house. What have you done? He now just simply says nothing they can prove. The way he's talking, before now, she's been holding out hope that Edward actually didn't do what they're accusing him of. But the way he's talking, she knows he did it. He really did it. She's devastated. Edward now starts telling Sol, even if I'm prosecuted, 18 months to 2 years in low security spot, he's not looking for ways to get out because he knows he can't. They won't grant him bail because he's been labeled flight risk. In fact, they discovered a ticket he bought for Bali. Bali doesn't have a extradition treaty with the US, so if he got there, the authorities couldn't have caught him if he had fled to Bali. That's why he's a flight risk, so they can't grant him bail. He has to stay in jail. But Edward is swearing to Sol that he was not going to use the Bali ticket. It was just a backup. That he swears that their life is going to be... He even swears to Sol, our lives will be made, baby. Once I get out of here, it's going to be made. While he's there in prison, he shall want Sol and the girls to move to Boston to go and stay with his mother. Sol refuses. I can't go and stay with your mother without girls. That your mother favors Lupe because she looks white. Remember, Edward is white, so is his family, including his mother that he wants Sol to go and stay with. Lupe, that is the second and third girls that Edward and Sol have together, look more black than white. Lupe is the one that looks most white. So the grandma used to make that distinction, favors the one that looks white. The ones that look black should now be making some kind of statements. Sol worked very hard so that her daughters could know that they are all loved and all equal. She doesn't want to go to Boston when all that hard work will just come undone. His child just tells her, don't undo my years of planning. That if you do everything I tell you, you'll be back to designer bags and diamond facials in no time. She now asks him, is that what you think I do with my days? Shop and get facials? You don't think what I do is work? Cleaning, cooking, organizing, driving, taking care of our children? All tasks people pay to have done for them? Is it not a job because I do it for my family? Did you think all these years you are the only one working just because you left the house every morning? Man, I am mad. Is this story? Yes, definitely. I've always known that stay-at-home moms, they are superstars. Oh my gosh. But this novel really highlights that for me. The thing that Edward says to his wife, actually telling her his consent, is, oh God, Sol, I don't have time for this feminist bullshit to read. I know you have some things you do to stay busy, but I'm talking to stay busy. She interrupts him. There aren't enough hours in the day for all I do, and you think I'm looking for ways to, in quotes, stay busy? Was I staying busy when I worked at the hotel's front desk during the day and cleaned rooms at night, 7 months pregnant, so you could get your MBA? Edward just tells her, just stay low, don't ruin this. We'll come out richer than you can imagine if you just hold down what you know and leave what you don't know alone. So ends the call. She doesn't know what to do next. She cries hot tears. She misses her mommy. That's her mom. Her mom passed away from cancer. Recalls the old chest she has on top of her wardrobe. So after her mom passed a few years after her dad, she kept going for her family. That is Sol. Sol got pregnant soon after graduating from Cornell. She actually attended an Ivy League university. She got pregnant soon after. She married Edward. Her mom was never a big fan of Edward. She would catch mommy staring at Edward sometimes as if Edward is a stranger. You get. Now she now opens the chest and starts going through the treasures. There's this scent of Egyptian musk. A scent, a perfume that her late mother liked to wear, mommy liked to wear. There's an old journal too. She doesn't want to go through her mom's old journals. If she feels like that's prying too much. Her mom married a husband initially, Bray. Bray wasn't a great husband, but he was a good dad. And Bray was Mommy's soulmate. In fact, Bray and Mommy had an almost entanglement while Sol's father was still alive. But it didn't happen. thankfully. Bray stayed away, came for Jason's funeral and wept. Jason is Soul's father, and Soul's father died, first. As Mommy was a widow, Bray and Mommy rekindled their spark until Mommy was diagnosed with cervical cancer. Bray never left Mommy's side, wept without shame at Mommy's funeral. So other things inside this chest is a ticket to a concert of a singer that Mommy and her girls. Soul has two older sisters actually. I don't know if both sisters are older than her, but her oldest sister is actually the daughter of Bray. That is, her mom had a daughter for Bray, her first husband, but the man was not a good husband. He cheated on her and they had some other issues. Mommy divorced Bray and married Jason. That is Soul's father and another sister that Soul has. That's that story. We'll see more of it as we go on. Now, other things inside there is a folded cloth. There's even a machete for cooking that's been handed down 3 generations. It has a pail handle. This piece that Soul is finding, this chest thing, just going through her mom's old things that just make her feel like her mom is still there, offering her warmth and comfort. That piece is invaded when she receives calls and texts from daughters. Her daughter is reminding her, "Mom, please don't forget gymnast class." Soul is just wondering, gosh, I just have to keep doing mom things. When is it going to be my time? Not now, but your time is coming, woman. Meanwhile, the Cowport directors, they're in a meeting. And the CEO, he wants his money back. That's all he wants, the CEO of Cowport. So he doesn't care to make Soledad and her daughters a casualty. He wants to remove the health benefits, ensure the girls are kicked out of their private fancy school. The other directors too are also kind of, hyping the man up like, yes, let's squeeze all the money out of that his pretty wife. Judah is feeling protective towards Soul. He argues that doing that to the wife and children of Edward is not going to do any good. That he knows Edward is trying to go for a low sentence and disappear later with the money he's stolen. He suspects that Edward might actually be working with a smarter person. But he's hinging that Edward left a clue somewhere, somehow. Outside the meeting is Dolores, CEO's daughter, who commends Judah on protecting Soledad. The CEO's daughter, Dolores, is that same woman that Soledad gave her honest opinion about the frying pan now. That can't people do like a frying pan that can fry 4 chicken breasts and let it not be flaking? For that one thing, the woman still likes Soledad to date. So even now that Edward has done the company bad, and, we see Judah protecting her while trying to do it in a way that looks professional. Dolores noted it and is now telling Judah, I noticed though that you are protecting her. Good work. Dolores is telling Judah that yes, I know Soledad is a good woman. She can't be involved in this, but her father just doesn't care. Now, my own personal commentary on this. Judah pointed out a theft problem where others did not know there was even a problem. In some ways, yes, he is responsible for the situation Soledad and her daughters are in. And it's making me wonder, how is this romance supposed to work? How is it supposed to come out of this situation? Soledad, meanwhile, she's having breakfast with her daughters when Bronson, the lawyer, calls to inform her that she can now visit Edward if she wants. Soledad is so enthusiastic about it, confusing the lawyer as per shouldn't she be jumping that visitation rights have now been allowed. But her doctor's call comes in while she's talking with Bronson, the lawyer, and she just has to disconnect and tell Bronson, I'll get back to you later. So the doctor is now telling her, results of your annuals came out and we saw something. Soledad is panicking. As per, is it cancer, just like her mother had? But then it's not cancer, it's chlamydia, a friggin' STD, sexually transmitted disease. And Soledad is confused. How do I have an STD if the only man I sleep with is my husband? Which means if I'm not doing it with other people, he is doing it with other people. So she now says, oh, this whole time he was making me feel inadequate was his way of throwing off the suspicion from himself, that he's been so deceitful. For 2 years, she suspected that her husband, something is going on for 2 entire years. But she was scared of confirming anything. She rather would live in denial than to think that her life is shattering. She calls back the lawyer and says that, you said that I can visit him now, that I want to visit him today. So Soledad arrives at the prison. She sees Amber, that secretary, Edward's secretary, coming out of the prison and she hides. Clicks to Soul all those years and time that Edward was spending at the office with this young woman, that he was doing Amber. So she goes in to see Edward and he's all charming smile, but then she draws close and starts the battle. Tells Edward that I just saw Amber leave. Edward denies it. She points out that you've been cheating because in my body I'm carrying the evidence that you cheated on me. He now starts admitting that he wanted someone younger, someone ambitious, someone more exciting, that Soledad wasn't it. Then she now sees it, that beneath the charm,
there is ice in his eyes. And she's now straining to remember, when was the last time that Edward actually looked at me with care? How long has he been looking right through me, not seeing the woman I've become? Did he ever love me? Is he even capable of it? He now starts telling her that he plans to divorce her when he gets out, that he's going to see his daughters on weekends. She promises him that she's going to keep her daughters away from him. He now tells her, hey, how can she do all those things, that she has no money, that how is she going to survive without him, because all these years he's been the breadwinner, in quotes. She now tells him, watch me. A battle line is drawn. Now let's see how Soledad survives, because it's getting hot, y'all. So I'm going to see you on Monday with a new episode. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Please don't forget to leave a review, leave a comment, tell someone about the podcast, share the show. Honestly, that's how you help it. That's the best way you help it. I really appreciate you, Nibber. See you next time. Bye.